What up? What up? What up? It's your man King Understanding coming at you on a Friday afternoon. Happy Friday. I'm on my lunch break and I was all set to eat, but then I remembered that I am fasting from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. I can only have liquids. I can't have any food until after 6 p.m. So I was like, what am I going to do? Am I just going to sit here and like drink water or lemonade? So I was like, I got it. I am going to address one of the questions that was sent to me and, try to break some things down. So here we go. This individual writes to me and says to me, I am wanting you to tell me why my ex is now hiding from me now that he's home from being incarcerated. And it's also when I walked away from the terror of hell that I dealt with for 21 years. I'm trying to figure out, is he now ashamed that I figured out that he's doing men or getting done by men? Or could it be something else? I don't understand. He was released in May of last year, and I haven't seen him anywhere. How can he be so embarrassed, but wasn't embarrassed with all of the stuff he put me through all those years? Drastic cheating, lying, using drugs, made a baby with someone else, used me, lied to people about me, slandered me, and had family and foes doing the same. Can you explain? Because I've been single 3 years now, and since his release, my thoughts have grown overwhelmingly. Like, why? Is he hiding or ashamed? Well, there's a lot to unpack here, and I'll do my best to, touch on these issues while at the same time being brief about it. There could be any number of reasons as to why you haven't seen him. I know with certain individuals, when they're in jail or prison, and, if they're the type of individuals that have been in and out, it's really easy for them to leave prison unrehabilitated. So when they get out, they start hanging out and associating with, the same people or the same types of people. And next thing you know, they do something dumb and they're right back in. So that's a possibility. He could be back in. Another possibility could be that he's out, but that he found himself another victim and that he's laid up in the cut with that individual, being what has been termed a hobosexual. He doesn't have a place to sleep or rest his head or eat. So, he finds someone who doesn't know a lot about him and is basically using that individual for food and shelter and sex and what have you. That's a possibility. Another possibility could be good old-fashioned divine intervention. It could be that God is saying, like, nah, you really don't need to see this individual. You've been through enough, and you don't need to see him. And I have to say, one of the first things that came to my mind when I read your question was, why does she want to see him? Now, I understand that it's been said love is what you've been through with someone. And you were with this individual for 21 years. So it's not easy to just turn your emotions off. But it sounds to me like you, at the very least, still care for this man. It sounds to me like you might still love him and you might still be in love with him. And you also made a comment about how you've been single for 3 years. And a red flag went off in my mind because I'm like, why is she saying that she's been single for 3 years? What does that have to do with him? And another thought that came to my mind is you're still in love with him and you want to see him and you want to get that old thing back. I hope I'm wrong about that. But if I'm right, then, I say that you should worry or concern yourself less with him and focus on you because you went through 21 years of hell, according to you. You were wounded and bruised emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And there's no way that you come out of something like that completely unscathed. You have wounds. And I think that those wounds need to be addressed. And I think it's a good idea for you to get into some counseling or therapy, to have someone help you to unpack a lot of what it is that you've gone through. That's if you're not in therapy. You might be in therapy. And I hope that you are. But if you're not, I think it's very important that you get into some therapy so that someone can help you to unpack what it is that you went through. And also to help you, I guess, confront why you stayed in this situation for 21 years. Because an individual that stays in a situation that is as bad as you said it was, to me, that's got low self-esteem written all over it. Um, you know, you got to get sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I don't know if you got sick and tired of being sick and tired and broke things off, or another set of circumstances, caused things to break up between you. I don't know. I intentionally didn't ask you a lot of questions before I read this because I just wanted to throw some things out there because I wanted to address your question, but I wanted to say things in a general manner so that, whomever it might apply to, they could get something out of it as well. But I'm very concerned about your, I don't want to say your mental health, but your state of being in terms of you having peace within yourself about where you stand with this situation. Again, you said something about how you've been single for 3 years. And in my mind, I was like, it sounded to me like she wants to see dude. And it sounds to me like if he ran game on her, she'd be with it. And, if he promised her that he'd change, she'd be with it and they'd get back together and it'd be the same things over and over again. I'm sure you know what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. This individual that you were dealing with is extremely toxic. And you need an individual like this in your life like you need a hole in the head. Maybe other individuals have said what I am about to say to you. If they did, cool. If not, cool. But you really don't need to be thinking about him too much or worrying about why you haven't seen him. You need to focus on yourself and do what you need to do in order to build yourself back up emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Because you went through 21 years of hell and this man wounded you. And you've got to go through a very real healing process. So there's any number of reasons about why you haven't seen him. Again, maybe God, if there's divine intervention going on here, maybe God is like, nah, you don't really need to see him. He could be embarrassed because of everything he did. He could have done something dumb and gone right back in. He could be laid up in the cut with somebody, using them. Could be any number of reasons. But I don't think you should focus on that at all. I think you need to focus on you and make sure that you are where you need to be so that, when you meet someone, you will be where you need to be for that individual. Because there's nothing like meeting someone and feeling like you can build something with them, but deep down inside, you're not ready because you haven't dealt with the stuff that you needed to deal with your ex. And I've seen plenty of relationships messed up, new relationships, because a person still hasn't gotten over their ex and they still have all this stuff inside of them that they need to address, or they're still in love with that individual. So they're trying to use somebody else to get over their ex. So I hope that I have in some way, shape, form, or fashion addressed some of the issues and concerns that you brought up in this DM that you sent me. And, I wish you the best, for real. So this is King Understanding signing out. And I hope everyone has a blessed and relaxing weekend. And peace.